Lost Art Project. Veterans Voices with Andrew Cox. Preserving history, one veteran story at a time.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project, Veteran Stories. We're going to have one heck of a veteran story today. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? And make sure you go to the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. There's a couple ways you can help support us. You can go in there, click on a one-time donation. You can become a patron. That's a monthly donation. Or you can go in and get you some cool merchandise. And if you have a business or something of that nature, you can advertise right here on the podcast. A big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project. They're out there doing amazing things. If you don't know about them, go check them out. If you do know about them, check them out again. You can find them at tillvalhallaproject.com.
Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps veteran service organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member.
All right, we're back here. I got motivator Skip Nakashima here. How you doing, Skip?
Good, thank you.
I'm excited that you're here. We got to meet down at the National Convention, so I was able to tackle you and force you to come on my show. So thanks for doing this.
You're welcome.
Well, let's start at the beginning. And where did you grow up? What was that like? And then what drew you to military service?
Well, I was born in Ontario, Oregon, and I grew up on a farm. And my dad worked for farmers, so I grew up on the farm. When I got old enough, well, then I started working on the farm. I guess by old enough, I started when I was driving the tractor when I was 6, and driving when I was 10. So then my dad was kind of prompting me along that line. So when I was in junior high, I was 13 at the time. He got me a farm, a 30-acre farm to run, and I did that. And then when I went to high school, and January 6th, 1961, I enlisted in the 47th Rifle Company of the Marine Corps. It was a reserve at the time. We were infantry, and we were part of the force troops, which, in thinking about it, I guess that was the forerunner to the MEU.
Right, yeah.
What I was told our mission was that in the event the balloon went up, we were to respond and be on the way in 54 hours to go where we needed to go, to hold the line until the FMF of the division could get there and take care of matters. So,
wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting. It was an interesting time because it was in the reserve unit, and I can't speak for the regulars at the time, but we got really old equipment. So,
yeah.
So I was privileged to fire some of the World War II weapons.
No kidding. Wow.
Then August 24th of 61, I went to boot camp at MCRD San Diego.
Oh yeah, that's the right place to go. That's Hollywood. You're right there with me. Yeah.
Right. And interesting enough, here's an interesting story. So this was 61. I was in platoon 263. Okay. So I think it was about 1983 or so. I was down at 1st Tank Battalion, Camp Pendleton at Las Flores, and I. In the meantime, after a few years in the infantry, transferred to tank. And while I was working down there, I heard a voice out in the hall, so I went out there, and it was my old tank commander when I was a gunner, and I was a corporal, and he was a sergeant, I think, or I was a lance corporal, he was a corporal. Anyway, he
Yeah.
was a master guns, and then he was out in the hall. So we were both busy working. So he said, "Come by. I'm the tank leader for Delta Company, and come by and see me after work." So I did, and there was another gunnery sergeant in there, and he introduced me to him. I didn't catch the name real quick, and we visited for a while. And then this young, I think it was a corporal, came in, said something to the gunny, and the gunny responded back. And when he did, I said, "Hey, wait a minute. When did you go to boot camp?" And he says, "When Christ was a corporal." And I said, "Well, that would have been August of 1961 in platoon 263. And I find this interesting. I had not seen Piper since we graduated from boot camp.
Wow.
November 24th of 61. And in 83, I recognized his voice.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Same voice. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it was interesting. Yeah, it was really interesting that, and I never even thought about him or anything else until that day. So,
Yeah.
it's interesting how you recognize voices.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, during boot camp, like what sticks out to you, and what types of things, good, bad, indifferent, but what did you learn and what did you see in boot camp?
Well, I learned with the standard stuff. One of the things that sticks out to me, when we went to the rifle range, we went to Camp Matthews. That was before they moved it up to Edson Range. And there was a hill there. Everywhere, the Marines go, there's a hill. You have your
Right.
for it. This hill we called it Little Agony. And I don't know if you named it, but apparently, if I remember correctly, one of the recruits improperly made a phone call.
Oh no.
So they took us over to the hill and ran us up the hill, down the hill, a little grass drill, up the hill, down the hill for I don't know how long. But after that, and this was at the range, so we were there for a couple of weeks, and this was in the beginning of our time at the range. After that, you could tell someone from our platoon 100 yards away with his back turned towards you because of on his utility jacket.
That's pretty good. I bet you by the time that week was over, you guys didn't call it little agony anymore. You called it major agony, huh?
Well, we didn't care, but no one else made an improper phone call to my knowledge.
Well, I guess it worked then, huh?
Yeah, it worked out. And another thing, and this is kind of a human interest thing because, everybody that's gone through boot camp knows how it is. But when we were there, after we went back from the range, we had 1 week they called mess and maintenance week. And so in the platoon, in the series, half the platoons went to the mess hall for mess duty, and the other half of the series went to maintenance around the depot. And so, and I can't remember who it was. One of the guys in the platoon, he was saying how he went to mess duty, and his job was to stand at the garbage cans when the people were coming out to make sure that they put the green garbage in one can and the paper in the other can. And he would jump all over these other recruits. Of course, we were, back from the range, so we're salty.
All right, yeah.
He would jump all over these other recruits for throwing paper in the green garbage can. And they would protest, and he would tell them that they threw the paper off the banana peel sticker in the green garbage can and make them get it up, put it in the paper. And I think that's kind of interesting because we're all recruits, but here this guy had an opportunity to wreak havoc on some other poor recruit.
Yeah, anytime you can, return the favor to somebody, then it's a good day.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, that's awesome. Now, how long was boot camp? Was it 12?
12 or 13 weeks, because we
Okay.
went in August 24th and graduated November 15th.
Okay. Oh, were you there on the birthday?
Because for all the years later, that's a date I remember. You know.
Yeah.
The date I went
that's
in
pretty
and the
awesome.
date I graduated, and I might forget my birthday, but I remember things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of days that I have to remember. My wife's birthday, our anniversary. I try to remember my kid's birthday. I always mess that up. But the Marine Corps birthday, I mean, nobody will ever forget that, I don't think. So.
Well, you can't, because when it gets close, every Marine will remind you if you did forget.
That's true. That's very true.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, now you already knew you were going to the reserve infantry.
Right.
Isn't that right? Yeah. So you kind of knew where you were going and what you were going to be doing. Now, after boot camp, did you get some time off before you checked in there?
We had 10 hours base liberty, and then we went to ITR. At the time, ITR, Individual Training Regiment, Infantry Training Regiment, and it was at San Onofre. So we went through that, and then came home on boot leave, and then went back down for advanced infantry training back at the same place. So, wow. I was in, they didn't have School of Infantry at the time. This was just training. And so I was in Quebec Company and ITR, and then in Bravo Company for the advanced training.
Very nice. Now, what did you get out of the training there? I mean, do you think it was good, satisfactory training, or?
Well, it was good. It was good training. It was, and like I said, we fired a lot of weapons, all the weapons. Of course, at that time, that was everybody knew that sooner or later, if you stayed on active duty, you're going to Vietnam.
Right.
This was in January, February of '62, and we were getting people ready, and they were sending Marines to Vietnam at the time. So, it was. We knew, all of our training was geared towards that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Now, did you get the basic rifleman or machine gunner? Like, what did you end up doing?
I was a basic rifleman. And I carried a BAR. I was given, which was kind of interesting. This seems to hold true. They get the smallest guy in the platoon and give him the BAR. And then from there, I was made a squad leader. So. So, and it was kind of interesting, because then during my time, I got to fire the M1, the first one. Then we transitioned to the M14, and while I was with the M1, we fired the BAR and the 30 caliber light machine gun, and then we transitioned to tanks. So then, while I was there, I also had an opportunity to fire the M3 grease gun, and then and it was a 90 millimeter main gun, and then also while I was in the infantry, we fired a 106 recoilless rifle. It was ground mounted on a tripod. So we had that. We had the 60 and the 81 mortars. And we had we had the grease gun, the M14, and the 90 millimeter and tanks. That started with the M48A1 and progressed up, moved through the A3, then to the M60, and the M60 engine. Went to the 105, converted over to the M60 machine gun. So,
You got to go through a lot of weapon systems.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah. And so, and this was interesting because we always laugh about it now, but, back then, the advancement, that the Marine Corps made in equipment and everything is just astronomical. But we remember when if they gave us anything for our hearing protection, it was cotton ball. And if they didn't,
I'm betting that didn't work very well.
No. And then we'd take the 45 brass and stick it in our ears, and
right,
that didn't work real good either. And in fact, sometimes we'd push the brass in so hard that it would cut into our ears.
Wow,
but that was all part of it,
Yeah.
And then over the course of time, and this is what I find interesting, because the civilian world does not know how technologically advanced the Marine Corps is. And the other thing is how much the Marine Corps leadership encourages individuality. The improvise, adapt, and overcome mentality.
Right.
And they want you to do that. If you've got a problem, they don't want you to go to them. They want you to solve it.
That's right. Yeah.
And because of that, I've maintained throughout my career on all my endeavors. If there's a problem, the guy doing the job will tell you identify the problem, and he can also come up with a solution to the problem.
Right.
You don't need to kick it around to other people with a higher rank or position to try and solve it. So,
yeah, absolutely. Now, you said Oregon, right?
Yes.
Where you grew up? Yeah. Back in Oregon with the infantry battalion there. And what was that like? What types of things were you doing? Was it once a month you go in or 2 weeks out of the year type of deal?
Once a month, and then 2 weeks during the summer.
Okay.
And so because of that, the places we went, because we were infantry, which was kind of interesting, because we went down to Hawthorne, Nevada. And at the time, it was Naval Ammunition Depot. And the Marine Corps footprint there was the security company, the guard company.
Oh, okay.
And so we went down there and worked with the guard company, and then also went through our infantry tactics and maneuvers there. And I never went on a CAX until I went to 29 Palms until I think we'd already transitioned to the M60 tank. We went down for exercise and stuff with the M48 to 29 Palms, but we didn't have a CAX when we first started.
All right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's still having CAX and doing the whole thing still today,
Yeah, right. I saw that.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And one of the interesting stories there when we were at 29 Palms, so we had the tank company down there, and we were operating, and we went up over the pass. I think it was, I can't remember which pass it was. It was up by Cleghorn.
Okay.
But we made a night move over the pass, and early the next morning, there was a big thunderstorm that came through.
Yeah.
And so this other gunny that was with me, he was having to go someplace and take the Jeep. And so he got in the Jeep and headed off back over the pass the other way, returning. And pretty soon he came back, and I was laughing at him and asked if he forgot something or something, what his problem was. And he said that on the way back over, that thunderstorm that had come down during the night exposed a 500-pound bomb in the middle of the road.
Wow, no kidding.
And you think about this. We took a company of tanks over, but who knows how long that had been there? How many heavy equipment things, the self-propelled howitzers, the tanks, everything going over that bomb, and never started.
Wow.
So,
well, that's really a good thing it never went off, man.
Yeah,
500-pound bomb. That's it. If that thing goes boom, that's a lot.
Oh yeah. So They called the
Wow.
EOD out and they disposed of it. So
Yeah.
that was an interesting.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Now, where did you ever get activated in anything like that?
No, I did
Okay.
that, but there towards the end of my career, I transferred over to the IRR, the individual
Mm-hmm.
inactive reserve, and I ended up going to. Well, we went to Lejeune as a company. I ended up going to Cuba on my own, and along the way, somewhere along the line, I had picked up a 3043 MOS, administrative
Okay.
supply. And so I got orders to go down to El Toro before it closed and assist with an audit. And this was kind of an interesting story. So I go down there, and the supply sergeant was a young guy and really squared away, had his, together, had it together and everything. Apparently, what had happened was this new officer arrived on the base there, and they worked in the PMO office there, the Provost Marshal's office. And so this, consequently, for those who don't know how that works, the PMO has their supply system. They have supplies in the warehouse. They have supplies in the issue point. And then at every gate, there's the gate guard office, which has supplies in it, and the pass and identification office, which has equipment in it, which includes the desk, all the desks and chairs and everything.
Right.
So the supply sergeant for the PMO office is in charge of maintaining and identifying all of that equipment scattered all over the base, all around it. So the new officer arrives, the sergeant says, the CMR is correct. If you'd like to look it over and do some spot checks, we can make it easy. And the officer says, I've heard about you supply sergeants. You're all crooked and everything. Just get out of my way and I'll do my own inventory. So he said, okay. And so this new officer went around and did her own inventory. And as all Marines know, the nomenclature for things is not easy to understand.
Oh, yeah.
And so this new officer got confused on a single pedestal desk versus a double pedestal desk, and a right-hand desk versus a left-hand desk, and all this other stuff. And so consequently, when they got done with their own personal inventory, they had a lot of shortages and a lot of excess. So they sent all the excess to disposal and ordered all the shortage.
No.
Yeah. And so the whole system was screwed up. So this went on, they were trying to get it straightened out over the year. And at the end of the year, the officer said, well, I'm going on leave. And the major said, you need to get this straightened out. And so the officer said, I'll take care of it when I get back off leave. So the major said, okay. Somehow or another, it slipped through the fact that she was going on PCS leave and went to Okinawa.
Oh, no.
So obviously, the relief officer came in. They said, okay, you're going to be the responsible officer, and the supply sergeant said, hey, this supply thing, the CMR is all screwed up. And so he said, I'm not signing for it. Well, the original one, the one that started this whole thing, didn't sign. So the relief didn't sign. So a year later, the relief is being relieved. Said, hey, I didn't sign for this stuff. So he said, well, I'm not signing for it either. So now this is 3 years later, through three responsible officers, no one's been signing for it. So the original officer that screwed all this up was coming back.
Okay.
Which was kind of surprising because that meant that they cut her tour in Okinawa short to come back.
Right.
my job was to go down and conduct an audit inspection and prepare for court martial of that new officer for screwing up the whole system.
Right.
But, apparently it was resolved. I didn't have to go back down or do anything. We got everything straightened out. I had heard that she had reached her terminal rank and would be lucky not to go to Leavenworth. And
oh, wow.
I don't know what came out of that, but it went away.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting situation.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Just to totally ignore, your supply sergeant and say, no, I'm going to do it myself, and then totally screw it all up.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Somewhere along the line, they'd gotten the wrong information and believed it.
Yeah. Wow. Now, total time. How much time did you spend in the reserves and IR?
26 years.
26. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were there for a long time.
I had 3 years broken time.
Okay.
Because there was a time when my civilian job was not conducive with me being in the Marine Corps. So
I see.
Up for 3 years. Yeah. So
okay. And then, so being in that long, were you in the same unit the whole time?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so you just kind of went from different job to different job within the unit?
Right. Yeah. And so then, and so that basically we spent a lot of time at 29 Palms, of course, with the tanks, a lot of time at Camp Pendleton. Then we went to, like I say, Camp Lejeune. And then once I got out of there, I was down at El Toro and Cuba, and I can't remember why, but I went to Gulfport, Mississippi, to CB base there. So, yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know there was a
really interesting because I don't know if other people knew it or not, and I don't know if the policy still holds true. But at the time, I was in the infantry at the time, and every CB battalion before it went overseas had to go either to Camp Lejeune or Camp Pendleton for 2 weeks of infantry training before deploying.
Wow.
So, yeah, on their float.
That's a good question. I wonder if it is still the same.
I don't know why it wouldn't be, because they work, with the Marines all the time, and they're right up front with them, and they need to know that information.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
So consequently, when I was in Gulfport, and this is where I heard CBs get along with Marines better than they get along with the fleet leaders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
we got along great.
Worked. Yeah. Did that work into your favor? I'm assuming, huh?
Oh, it did. It was great.
Yeah. And now, what were you doing down there in Gulfport?
It was a disaster recovery training, which was a good place. And it was just before Hurricane Camille. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where we got, it was kind of interesting. So we got through, I think that was where we practiced self-injecting an antidote for nerve gas.
You weren't actually putting the thing in there. Whatever the nerve agent stuff was, right?
No, we didn't have the serum. We used, I think we used water. I think it was.
Oh, no kidding.
Water that we injected. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
wow.
You inject it intramuscularly, so it was just not a lot.
Oh,
It wasn't a lot, so it was just a little bit going in. But it was kind of
yeah. Man, that's that makes you a little nervous every now and again thinking about that.
Well, you don't think about it. If you don't think about it, you just
yeah. Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Holy cow. So let's see, what all different like billets and jobs did you have?
Well, I started out, like I said, as a grunt. Then I was a squad leader in the infantry.
Yeah.
Then when I moved into tanks, I was the gunner. And worked through really quickly, worked through driver, loader, or loader, driver, then gunner, and then I was a tank commander. And then from there to the platoon sergeant, and then eventually up to being a tank leader.
Wow.
So, and then in the supply side, I worked as a supply chief, and then once I picked up gunny, it came about that I was beyond my TO rating, and so they assigned me as a battalion supply chief.
Oh, I see. Okay.
4th Tank Battalion. Yeah. So, yeah. And so one of my interesting tasks, I guess you might say, when we went to Camp Lejeune, our company participated in a tank battalion landing operation. We used a regiment of infantry. It was, I suppose it was a regimental landing operation with tanks involved. But they took me out and put me in charge of being the supply chief for the aggressor group. So I had the opportunity to get a upgraded priority and order in everything for the aggressors, from smoke plots for the beaches, and tear gas and mortars and everything.
Wow.
And I pulled it from everywhere. We were there in June, but I was ordering in stuff from New Orleans, from Camp Pendleton, up in New York.
Wow.
Just
holy cow.
It was a lot of fun. And
that's a lot of gear that you had to get, though.
Oh yeah, and my boss was a lieutenant colonel. So which was kind of strange, because we go to the staff meetings, and we go into the staff meetings, and I was the only enlisted in the staff meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everybody else, I think the lowest rank officer there was a captain, and then there was me. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What? So now that was when you were a gunny, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And now, did you continue on from there? Did you make it to Master Sergeant or anything?
Pardon?
Did you make Master Sergeant?
No. I got out. I retired out as a gunny. So
as a gunny. Okay.
And then I don't know why, but in 81, I think it was in 81, I went to PMI school there at Quantico.
Oh, really?
Yeah, picked up a PMI MOS. At the time, which was kind of interesting, I was just thinking about it, because I had 4 MOSs and 2 of them no longer exist. So my 811 has gone away, and my 8531 apparently has gone away, because they changed the course of fire and made it different MOS numbers. So there's no longer an 8531. So,
wow. Now, what all did you do with that? So when you went to the school, you got your PMI, and then you helped your unit out, basically.
Right. PMI. I was a range officer there, and then when I went down to Cuba, I was assisted on the range down there. I don't know why they did it. They sent a bunch of us from individuals from all over the United States, put us together. We met. I never met the guys until we got to Norfolk, got on the plane, went to Cuba, and went down and did our thing. So,
wow. And what were you doing? You just doing training ops down there?
Yeah, we were doing training ops, and I don't know. We all had different MOSs, and we all filled in with the regulars. And this was one of the things that I get the impression in talking to the National Guard guys, not a lot of the Army Reserve, but the National Guard guys, is when they go someplace, they just do their own thing all by themselves, and they don't interact with the regulars. And we would go in, and no matter where we went, even when we went with as a company, we go in and fill in and go on a catch with regulars, troops, and work with them and everything. And I think that's a big difference between the Marines and the Army and the Guard. Is when we go in and operate, we operate on the same level, or try to operate on the same level. And I point out if there's regulars who had a bad experience with a reservist, it was probably because that reservist did not have a good INI teaching them what they were doing.
Right.
Or it was a new one.
Yeah. And everything boils down to leadership too. What is the leadership letting them get away with, or how are they training them, those types of things.
Well, and that's another thing. I don't know if it's still true in the Marine Corps or not, but back when I was there, anybody that outranked you could tell you what to do or square you away. It wasn't that story, well, I don't work for you.
Right.
And I've seen guys in the Army Reserve and the Guard say that, hey, I don't have to render courtesy to that captain because I don't work for him. He's not mine.
Wow.
And
you don't see that in the Marine Corps.
No.
That wouldn't get you very far.
Yeah, right. So that's to me that's a big difference between the mentality, which makes the Marines different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow. Now, what was your because you're reserved, so what was your regular day job? What were you doing?
I did a lot of stuff. There for a while, I was kind of a lost soul. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Well, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a policeman. But in Oregon, I was 1 inch too short to be an Oregon State policeman.
No kidding.
So I did a number of things. I tell people I think I did everything that I could find to do that did not require a college education. I worked as a disc jockey. I was a shipping receiving clerk. I was a short order clerk. I was a mechanic, a farm mechanic on a farm equipment mechanic. I was a ditch digger. But
nice.
I used a big mechanical digger to dig the ditch. I didn't use a shovel. And then
that's way easier.
I used a Green River trencher with a big wheel on it, trenching wheel.
Right.
And during that time, when I was digging the ditch and came to a rock, I'd use dynamite to blow the rock up, which was a skill that I learned in the Marine Corps. When I was there again, when we were in the infantry, we worked with the explosives, TNT and det cord, and stuff like that. So I was comfortable using dynamite and blasting caps. So I did that.
Wow.
I was like I say, shipping receiving clerk. Then I was an assistant manager for a retail store.
Okay.
And then it was a small chain, and they were transferring me. They'd come in like on Friday night and say, okay, we're moving you to this other town, and you go to work there Monday morning. And
wow.
And we knew that my manager and I knew I was probably going to be transferred because that opening was coming up and everything, but they'd never let you know until the last minute. So came up to Boise, and when you moved like that, the advantage they had was every time you moved, it was like a promotion up closer to getting your own store and becoming a manager.
Oh, right.
So people did it, so they came to me, and I was in Boise, and they came to me and did that to me. And I said, I'm not going. And they said, well, what are we going to do? Who's going to open the store? And I said, well, it was a store I'd been at. And I said, use this person there. I said, they're perfectly capable of doing it till you get someone else, but I quit. And they said,
Oh,
aren't you going to give me 2 weeks notice? And I said, well, you didn't give me 2 weeks notice, so why should I?
Well, yeah,
And so
yeah.
then I went back to work for the store, and at the time I applied for the police department here in Boise. Got that job. And so I did that for 33 years.
Wow.
And retired from there. And so that was why I took a break in my Marine Corps career, was when I was working narcotics for the police department.
Oh, right.
Because the Marine Corps still wanted me to shave and get a haircut.
Oh, right.
And and I was working a lot of hours, so and, so that was when. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a break, and it was a difficult decision because I didn't know if I could come back or not.
Wow. Yeah. Very true. So talk to me a little bit about your time on the police force. Was it overall good?
Yeah, it was here again. It was interesting. I started out working in patrol, and I was doing quite well. And I had a little conflict with the chief. And he said, he made the comment, as long as I'm chief, you'll never be promoted. And me and my mentality, I said, as long as you're chief, I don't want to be promoted. And it turned out that he was the longest serving chief on the history of the department and still holds up. But I looked at it like that was an advantage for me. It was a really good move, because had that not occurred, I probably would have been promoted within a few years to sergeant, and then lieutenant, and then I would have been stuck, and I would have been an administrator. And so because of that, I worked patrol, and then I worked. We had a pilot project, federally funded pilot project, which at the time was brand new, but now is everyday occurrence, and that was a joint task force working narcotics.
Right.
And so we started that out, and we had this was a new experiment for everybody and everything, being funded. An interesting note on that was we had our own radios and our own radio frequency. Dispatch did not have a frequency to that radio. So nobody heard us except us.
Well, I guess that's a good thing.
It was good in one respect. It was bad in the, I guess it was a good respect. One thing about as we were a small unit, we were very tight because just like in the Marine Corps, we depended on each other all the time.
Right.
And this was when drugs was making the big explosive scene, when the acid was coming out, and it was like the drug culture was tipped upside down. In the olden days, prior to that, the cocaine was used by the moneyed people, high society. Heroin used was by the junkies on the street. The marijuana was by the, at this time, everybody started using marijuana. We had business people using heroin. We had street people using cocaine, methamphetamine.
Wow.
When they came out with the new drugs all the time, Timothy Leary was big going on. And it was, and so then one of the problems we had was because a lot of the business people were using drugs and we were making cases on that the other police officers did not realize how sensitive the information we were dealing with was in the community. And we found times when they would go to a party someplace and or social event and be talking to somebody would mention who we were working on, and this person was a friend, acquaintance of that person who that would then let them know, and so we isolated ourselves even from other officers on the department, basically.
Oh, wow.
as far
Holy
as what
cow.
we were doing. You know, we would attend social events with them and stuff, but as far as sharing our information with them, the only time we did was if we needed assistance or serve a search warrant or something along that line. So I did that for a while, and then went back to patrol for a while. Then I was called up, and I was a major crimes investigator. So,
oh wow,
at the time, this was before we had investigators identified by types of offenses. So the detectives would work everything. So they had 5 of us that would do major crimes. So we did homicides, rapes, robberies. If we did a burglary, it was either a large volume or had a suspect. But if it was a everyday burglary with no suspects, we didn't get assigned that. That got to someone else.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And then we changed chiefs. So then the chief decided that everybody should rotate through the positions. So I went back to patrol. And well, there we started up. We had a very progressive department. It was very small. And when I started, it was very backwards. Right now, I have a friend of mine that retired from the Anaheim Police Department. So he was working with Anaheim about the same time I was working with Boise. And he could not believe how fundamental we were compared to what he was doing. You know, we were really backwards, you know. But anyway, so then I got to be
now, was that done on purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
What happened when you say on purpose? It was because Boise and Idaho was very conservative, and so they didn't want to go into new stuff. You know, it was things like what's working for us is working good, so we're going to stay the way it is. Luckily for me, when I started, the chief that I had the dispute with was very progressive thinking and really moved the department forward. But he had to battle the city council and the public to do it. He did a great job until he decided that he wanted to retire there. Then he backed off pushing. But he pushed for a lot of stuff. And so we started, we were one of the first departments nationally to have a school resource officer. We had, I was one of the first crime scene investigators. Then we went into hostage negotiations, and we started that. So I was fortunate to be a crisis negotiator, hostage negotiator, and be trained by Schlossberg, who is the father of hostage negotiations. He's a psychologist or psychologist with a gun. So I got to do that. One of my claims to fame, one of the things that I really am proud that we did is, and I don't know how it happened, but I and 2 other people were assigned to investigate a cold case. And what it was there was an elderly lady that had a little gift shop. And one day at noon, someone went in to her shop. She was by herself. They slit her throat and robbed her. And called 911, and because the blood was getting into her throat and mouth, they had a difficult time understanding her. But we responded. She passed away, and that case ended up going cold. So 5 years later, like I said, I and 2 other guys got assigned this case to work and profile. So we tried to profile the suspect, which was, you know, a new thing to us. But we worked on it, and we had a instructor that helped us out. Anyway, we ended up, I did putting together a profile. Then we went back and searched for someone 5 years prior that would fit that profile. And we found it. And
No kidding.
what had happened, the main thing we were looking for, amongst the minor stuff, but the major thing involved was that this person would have a criminal record using a knife. And we picked up on this guy because he had shoplifted from a store, and when the store security confronted him, he pulled a knife and ran away. And the security chased him, and the police were called, and they caught the guy. And so we identified that this was the guy who fit our profile who used a knife.
Wow.
So we went up, we turned it over to the detectives. The detectives went up, talked to him. He was in custody already on another charge. They went up, talked to him. He confessed to it. He got sentenced to life in prison. And about 10 years ago, he died in prison.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that was a long story,
Man.
but that's my great thing.
You have done some amazing things. That's pretty wild.
Lucky, you know, it just happened to be in the right place at the right time, which was very rewarding. You know.
Oh yeah.
One day here a few years ago, a detective called me up and said, "Hey, do you remember this homicide that you worked on?" You know, and I said, "You know, I don't. You know, it's been too long ago." He said, "Well, I want you to know, we just made the case and convicted the guy of murder." So,
wow.
As a crime scene investigator, I had processed that scene, and they used the evidence I had collected. Because, again, over the years, you know, everything, you know, back when I did it, we didn't have DNA. And,
right. Yeah.
So but the evidence that I collected, they were able to put it all together and got the guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, that was what I did on the police department. And then after the police department, after I retired from there, I became a school bus driver. And
nice.
Yeah. So but I didn't want to drive routes. I worked nights on the police department. And so to be a school bus driver, you had to get up early in the morning. So I didn't want to do that. So they talked me into being a charter driver. So I took kids on field trips and sports events.
Right.
I tell people, if you're ready to retire, you're in good shape. That's the most fun job there is. It's very educational. First of all, you're taking kids where they want to go. There's always a teacher or coach on board. And then you go and drop them off, and you go on the field trip, and you learn what the kids are learning.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I have been a policeman in that year for 33 years, and did not know there was so many interesting things in the vicinity.
Right.
I got to go on geology field trips and weather field trips and everything, all different subject matter. I got to go watch Shakespeare plays, and it was a lot of fun.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then after that, I went to work for the Department of Interior in wildland fire control. And
wow.
So I started out as a expanded dispatcher, just doing the paperwork. And then we had a fire, and we needed a plane on it, and we had a plane available, but no manager for the plane. And so that frustrated me. So I said, "What's it take to be a manager?" And they told me, and I said, "Well, I could do that." So I got qualified as a single engine air tanker manager, and I went out on fires, managing the single engine airplanes on the different fires. And then I noticed that here in this area, the need for them started in June, but the fire season started a lot earlier, and they needed initial attack dispatchers. So I said, "Well, I can do that." So I got certified as an initial attack dispatcher. And so
Wow.
I worked, and it was a sweet deal. And I don't know if it could be done again or not because they change requirements for qualifications all the time.
Mhm.
But they would call me. I would, first of all, I would go on the computer and go into the system and make myself available. And then when they
Okay.
need someone with my qualifications, they'd call me up and say, "Do you want this job?" And I could take it or not. If I said yes, well,
Okay.
then they'd give me 1 day to go to the scene. And I'd work 14 days straight and then 1 day travel back. And then I'm off and unavailable until I went back in and said I was available again. And then they'd call me.
Wow.
And so consequently, because of that, I got to go to Florida a couple of times. I went to Alaska a couple of times, went everywhere in between
Yeah.
many times. And it was a really a good experience. It was
Yeah. And what exactly were you doing when you went in for those 14 days?
whatever one of the 3 jobs that they hired me for. I was either an initial
Yeah.
attack dispatcher, and towards the end, and this was one of the things about it, is towards the end, I was doing night work. And like I said, that was fine
Mhm.
with me because I worked nights anyway. So,
Yeah.
but I doing it, and it was really interesting because with the computer programs that they have now,
Mhm.
you get a call on a fire. There's a certain criteria, you evaluate it, and then you know what to send. So you know to send a couple engines, a tanker, an
All
airplane,
right.
or, a crew, whatever. Do that, and then once the initial attack gets there, then they upgrade you on the situation, and you know what else.
Mhm.
Um,
Wow.
And then if it gets to be a large fire, which goes
Mhm.
over an operational period, a couple of operational periods, then you go to an expanded dispatch. And I did that. And an expanded dispatch, when you work that, it's kind of like an employment offer. And you call people up and put them to work on the fire.
Yeah.
Everything they need
Oh.
from caterers, shower units, engines, bulldozers, tankers, whatever. So you do that. So I did that, and then I retired from that, or I quit because, well, I just quit. And then one day I was sitting around with my buddy, and we were having a few drinks, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I don't know, you know." And he said, "Well, the Peace Officer Standard and Training needs an investigator." And I said, "Why?" And he,
Okay.
well, because they had an investigator that died. And so someone needs to pick up her cases and finish that and take her place. So I said, well, okay, I'll go look and see what that amounts to. So I went in and I just went in to talk to see what the job amounted to.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the guy, and and I walked in wearing sandals and a golf shirt and shorts. I just was checking it out, and he said, "Well, why don't you come back tomorrow, but wear a shirt and a suit jacket. Don't look like a beach bum." And he said, "Well, we need your picture." So apparently, he hired me.
Oh, that's
So,
pretty good. Get hired, walking in looking like a bum. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So he hired me. So I did that for about 6 years. Okay, so I was saying after I quit doing the Department of Interior things, um, my buddy talked me into going to work for Post, Peace Officer Standard and Training, in the Office of Professional Accountability Office. So what
Mhm.
would happen is, and this covered city officers, county sheriff, deputies, uh, attorney general investigators,
Wow.
parole officers, probation officers, anybody
Mhm.
involved in law enforcement. And so they would get an after a complaint was received, they would it would be handled internally, and then
Mm-hmm.
if the violation was severe enough, they would be given the opportunity to resign or retire, or they would be terminated.
Oh, wow.
Idaho, the state law requires that if anyone leaves the service under those circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
even if they retire due to an investigation, that the circumstances be sent to the Office of Professional Accountability. And then we would get the case and open an investigation on that officer to
Okay.
determine the validity of the complaint.
Right.
If the decision was made that the complaint was sustained,
Mm-hmm.
then they would terminate that officer's certification.
Okay.
And then they would send that name to the National Decertification database.
Oh, wow.
And so if that person applied in law enforcement anywhere else in the nation, except for 3 states that don't use that, it would show up that he'd been decertified in Idaho, and then
Holy cow.
they would contact Idaho to find the circumstances of that.
Yeah.
The hiring agency, they would have that opportunity. And so, interestingly enough, on that account, when we open an account and a case on a person, we would give them an opportunity to voluntarily relinquish their certification or not. Of those that chose to not voluntarily relinquish their certification, and I conducted the investigation on it, I exonerated probably 60% of my cases that found that the investigation was in error, the results were in error, and the individual can keep their certification. And it was a poor investigation being done, or it was politically motivated. You get a lot of these small departments that had all different. I shouldn't say small departments, because all the departments had internal politics.
Right.
And if a person was not on the right side of the politics, well, then they would find a reason to terminate them. Some of them were really glaring miscarriages of justice, and we were able to save the. And so I identified my position as getting rid of the bad officers and keeping the good officers. And
very nice.
So I did that for about 6 years, and then by that time I got to be really old. So, so it came time to renew my contract, and I went into the boss and I said, I think I'm not going to renew my contract. I'm going to take the time off. So I did. And at that time, then I started getting more and more involved in the Marine Corps League and what was going on there.
Right. Now, were you involved with the Marine Corps League prior to that?
Yes, I was. So back in, I think it was around 97, while I was still, before I retired from the police department.
Oh, wow.
The reserve unit here started, I had already retired from the Marines, and the reserve unit here, the inspector instructor started a young Marine unit. And so we went.
Oh, right.
I started with the young Marines there. After about 3 years, I ended up being the commanding officer of the unit.
Oh, wow.
Because, and it was it was a situation where somebody needed to do it. And I, so, just like you talked me into doing this, you know.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
You know, the captain that started it, his tour of duty here was up, so he left. We had another guy that took it over, and then his job required him to travel outside the area within the state.
Right.
So then he couldn't do it, so then I did it. So then I was a commanding officer there. And then we reorganized the Marine Corps, or the Young Marine Organization, into the organization it is now. It was totally different before that. So that was a big reorganization that was done. And then I got to participate in that. And then because of one thing or another, I ended up being a battalion commander for Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and Montana.
Wow.
I was a regional. Well, it started as battalion commander just for Oregon and Washington, or Idaho and Washington, and then it expanded to the other all four states. And then I started doing the fire assignments and going out on fires, and so I could no longer have the time to spend doing Young Marine, so I dropped out of that. But I really enjoyed it. I really strongly promote the Young Marines. I didn't make this up, so I can't take credit for coming up with it, but I firmly believe that we should be adult leaders for Young Marines, because those are the people who are going to pass the laws and manage our government, our country, when we're old and retired. And they're making the decision on how our lives are going to be. So we need to put an effort into preparing or laying the groundwork for our retirement or our old age. And, the Young Marines have excelled in that area. Whether that young Marine comes up to go in the Marine Corps or go in the military even or not, they all that I've seen turn out to be excellent adults, many leaders in their field, whatever it may be. So the Young Marines are doing a good job. Put in the
There needs to be more what, I don't know what you would call it, but detachments or more units, or I don't know how they're referred to, but there needs to be more of them.
Yes, there is. And one of the things that I'm glad to see is that there's more interest being taken in physical fitness, because as everybody that's familiar with it knows, the country is not. The problem with the military is we don't have a pool to draw from. There are too many young people who are not qualified to be in the military. And so even if they want it, and there's a lot of those people, a lot of those kids that want to go in the military that can't. And I just heard the other day the Army has started a pre-boot camp, which is longer than their boot camp, in an effort to get these young people in shape to pass their physical fitness program.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah. So, in fact, I was talking to an officer recruiter who worked up in the university up in Spokane, and he said with recruiting officer candidates is there's so many of them that are interested that can't pass the entrance physical fitness program.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That is crazy.
But you're absolutely right. We need more of these units, and it turns things around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I need to start getting involved in stuff like that. I think it'd be good, but
so
I stay busy.
One kid, and just as an example of how you influence these kids and how dedicated they are. This kid was probably, I'm guessing, about 13 or 14. Turned in a kid who brought a gun to school.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. To me, that takes a lot of commitment on the part of the kid.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's known, then that becomes an issue for the kid. But he knew what was right and wrong and stood up for that.
Yeah, good for him. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's really good.
Wow.
And so now, like I said, I'm just involved with the Marine Corps League and
Yeah.
having a good time, taking care of, playing with I got 2 great granddaughters, one 6 and one 8 that,
Oh man.
have a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you're giving them all kinds of treats and all kinds of stuff, and then sending them back to the parents.
Well, we don't give them a lot of treats. But the other day, the youngest one, 6 years old, Riley, was down at the Marine recruiters booth down at the fair and did 7 pull-ups.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, all on her own.
That's awesome.
7 correct pull-ups. 6 years old. So yeah.
Dang, she passed the test already.
She's working at it.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So,
well, thanks for coming on here. Thanks for agreeing to do it and listening to me talk and yap at you to get you to do it. So thank you.
well, and like I said, I didn't really have a big story to tell, but hopefully the little anecdotes that got through. So.
Oh man, it was great. It was fantastic. It was a good story. I appreciate it. Well, so I do these rapid fire questions toward the end, and I'd like to do them with you if you don't mind. All right, here we go. What is your proudest military moment?
Oh, proudest moment. Probably graduating from boot camp.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was the most difficult period of, challenging I had. Yeah.
Very nice. All right. What was your most embarrassing military moment?
Oh, I don't know.
Don't know that one?
No. Probably, well, it wasn't really embarrassing, I guess, at the time, but one time we were in the barracks. We were down at Las Pogas.
Yeah.
And we were living in the Quonset huts. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the Quonset hut, we had some desks stacked up, excess equipment. We had some desks there. And I woke up one morning on the top of the top desk.
Now, do you remember getting up there?
No.
Oh,
man, that's I remember getting up there, and I remember we were falling out for our morning run, and I couldn't read the numbers on my combination lock, so I had to have a guy open the locker for me.
Oh, jeez.
And we went on our 5-mile run and came back, and I had improved to the condition that I realized that I couldn't walk. My feet, something was wrong with my feet. And they had little cuts all over them. I don't know where I got those, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I'm sure other people went through similar things,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think everybody has at some point in time, right?
Yeah.
All right. If you could be one military leader for a day,
who would I be?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the one military leader. Well, if I could be one for a day to make the change and everything, I think I'd be the commandant. I could see a lot of changes that I could, kind of like being the president for a day. Be the commandant for a day.
Yeah.
Make a lot of changes.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, nothing wrong with doing that. All right. In the zombie apocalypse, what would be your weapon of choice and what anthem would be playing?
Oh, I have no idea. I guess my weapon of choice would be a flamethrower.
Ooh, that's a good one. I haven't heard that one.
One of the weapons that I used when I was a grunt. We had flamethrowers back in those days. And that would do it for the zombies. Yeah.
It would be really good for zombies. I agree.
Yeah.
And the anthem, what do you think?
Well, probably either the Marine Corps hymn or that "Proud to Be an American."
Ooh, yeah. Both of those, very good, very good. All right. Knowing what you know now, would you do it all over again?
I would.
Very nice.
There's only one decision I made that I questioned if I'd made the right one or not, and that was when I was in advanced infantry training, and they came to me and said that if I would agree to it, they would put me in a MARCAD program, which was the Marine Aviation Cadet Program. I would go through that. I would come out as a pilot and an officer.
Oh, wow.
And, at the time, I was a hard charging PFC. And I said, I'd be a second lieutenant, right? And they said, yeah. And I said, that's the lowest thing on earth. And I don't think I want to do that. And,
that's pretty good.
In my defense, I had only flown on an airplane twice. And that was, I actually wanted to go down to boot camp. And so I had no idea if they would have taken me up, even just in a Cessna or at the time OV-10, let me fly around and see what it was like, I probably would have done it. And that's the one decision I question. I don't regret it. I just don't know. I question it. That's the only one.
Right. Okay.
Do everything over again. Yep. Yeah, it's a good one.
I like it. All right. I'll give you time to words of wisdom for the listeners. Anything that you want to tell everybody?
No. The only thing I would say, because I'm thinking the listeners are going to be all different ages and everything. The main thing which we are losing, one thing we have to do is maintain your integrity. That's big. And do things for others. Everything from the Young Marine program to Boy Scouts to, anything like that, and to the Rotary Club adult membership things. Get involved in the Marine Corps League. Get involved in the community. That's what it's going to take for us to pull through this current situation. Get together and work as a large community.
Absolutely. Very well said. That was good. Well, Skip, thanks for doing this. I truly appreciate it. It's been a blast. Hopefully you had fun telling stories to me. But I always end the podcast talking about veteran suicide. So I'll go ahead and do that. To all the listeners out there, if you're struggling and need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA has some great resources. You can dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. I know Skip cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with, ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right, Skip, again, one last time, thank you very much. Much appreciated. To all the listeners out there, stay motivated. Change your socks.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, there are 5 episodes a week, Monday through Friday. Be sure to tune in.